expansion rod will be on this bimetallic strip heated. Smaller coefficient of linear expansion rod will be on which side? Concave side or convex side, or remains straight? Yes, convex side. Oh, is it B or A? What is mentioned part here? It is heated. And heated means L is directly proportional to alpha. L is directly proportional to alpha. We discussed in a class here. It is for heating. And for cooling, L is inversely proportional to alpha. No need to learn any statement which we discussed in a class here. I told you in a class here, master point, master formula will be helpful to give the answer of such type of questions in a class here. Without stress, we can give the answer of our question. Clearly mention bimetallic strip is heated. So L is directly proportional to alpha here. What is mentioned? Coefficient of linear, smaller coefficient of linear expansion rod. So if alpha is smaller, length will also be smaller. Length smaller will be on concave side. Length smaller will be on concave side or inner side. Concave side or inner side. So will be the answer A here. Yes, in case of cooling here, if it is not mentioned heated here, what is mentioned? Cooling here. Question is same. If it is mentioned here, it is cooling. L is inversely proportional to alpha. L is inversely proportional to alpha. A smaller alpha means length will be higher. Length will be higher. Higher the length will be on convex side or outer side. Convex side or outer side. So simple to give the answer of such type of questions here. With the help of this relation, L is directly proportional to alpha for heating and L is inversely proportional to alpha for cooling. Such type of questions asking in our exam. Okay, next topic we will take in a class here. This is an important topic for the exam point of view here. Okay, listen carefully all students now here. Effect of temperature on the time period of a simple pendulum clock here. What is the effect of temperature on the time period of a simple pendulum clock? That part we will discuss in a class now here. You know all students here, time period of a simple pendulum clock T is equal to 2 pi root over L naught by G here. This T is the time period here. What is this? T is the time period. And this 2 pi is a constant term. L naught is the initial length. Initial length of a pendulum clock. And G is the acceleration due to gravity. So that relation everybody know in a class here. Time period is equal to 2 pi root over L naught by G here. Now what is our topic here? Effect of temperature on the time period of a simple pendulum clock here. Yes, for which condition there will be a loss in time. For which condition there will be a loss in time. For which condition there will be a gain in time. And for which condition there will be neither loss nor gain in time. These part we will discuss in a class here. So where will be the loss in time here? Where will be the gain in time? And where will be neither loss nor gain in time? It will be clear with the help of these three diagrams we are taking on the board now here. Listen, if temperature is equal to constant here, listen, if temperature is constant, length of a pendulum clock also constant. Length of a pendulum clock also constant. So if temperature constant, length also constant, there will be neither loss nor gain in time. There will be neither loss nor gain in time here. So if temperature is constant, length will also be constant. There will be neither loss nor gain in time because that length does not change. That length does not change. When length changes, then only there may be a loss in time or gain in time, as I will discuss in a class now here. So if temperature is constant, length also constant, there will be neither loss nor gain in time when the temperature is constant. Now another. if temperature is increases now here, suppose room temperature is increasing now here, what happens when the temperature is increasing, length of a pendulum clock also increases, length of a pendulum clock also increases. So length increases, supposed to be taken as L. Initial length was L naught, now this length reaches to L here. Now listen to me here, this pendulum will take more time to complete one oscillation. This pendulum will take more time to complete one oscillation with respect to this pendulum, with respect to this pendulum. So listen carefully, then will be clear, otherwise you will be in the doubt here. So length is increasing, this pendulum will take more time to complete one oscillation with respect to this pendulum. So if a pendulum is taking more time, if a pendulum is taking more time to complete one oscillation, there will be loss in time, there will be loss in time. So temperature increases, length also increases, that pendulum will take more time to complete one oscillation with respect to this pendulum. And if a pendulum is taking more time to complete one oscillation, there will be the loss in time, there will be the loss in time. Now, if temperature decreases now with respect to this here, if temperature decreases, length of a pendulum clock also decreases. Length of a pendulum clock also decreases. Now, if length decreases, this pendulum will take less time. This pendulum will take less time to complete one oscillation. This pendulum will take less time to complete one oscillation with respect to this pendulum, with respect to this pendulum. So if a pendulum is taking less time, if a pendulum is taking less time to complete one oscillation, there will be the gain in time, there will be the gain in time. So three part we have taken in our class here. When temperature is constant, there will be neither loss nor gain in time. If temperature increases, there will be a loss in time, and if temperature decreases, there will be gain in time, there will be gain in time. And that we have collected at one place now here. If temperature increases, there will be loss in time. If temperature increases, there will be loss in time. For example, in summer season, in summer season, temperature increases. So there will be loss in time. There will be loss in time. If temperature decreases, there will be gain in time. There will be gain in time. For example, we can take in winter season, there will be gain in time. There will be gain in time. So for which condition loss in time in summer season? Yes, for which condition there will be gain in time in winter season? If the room temperature does not change, if the room temperature does not change with time, as time passes, the temperature of the room does not change, there will be neither loss nor gain in time. There will be neither loss nor gain in time. So the part is clear now here, where it is loss in time or it is a gain in time. Now question is arising here, sir, by which mathematical relation we can find out loss in time or gain in time here? Which mathematical relation will be helpful to find out the loss in time or gain in time? Okay, we will discuss in a class here. First, listen to me here. What is T is the time period. What is this T is the time period here? T is the time period. What is this delta? T is the change in time period. Change in time period. Change in time period, or we can say here it is loss in time. Loss in time, or we can say it is gain in time. It is depending upon is it temperature is increasing or temperature is decreasing. So delta T is the change in time period. Change in time period. It is also known as loss in time or gain in time. It is depending here is it temperature is increasing or temperature is decreasing. Now what is this delta T upon T here now? What is this delta T upon T is known as fractional change in time period. Fractional change in time period. Yesterday I told you in a class here, what is fractional means? Change in dimension by original dimension. Change in dimension by original dimension. So this is the change in dimension by original dimension. This is known as fractional change in time period. So delta T by T, this is known as fractional change in a time period. Now, if it is multiplying by 100 here, if it is multiplying by 100, what will come here? Delta T by T into 100. This is nothing but as percentage change in time period. So these are the things we have to discuss in our class here. What is capital? What is T is the time period. Delta T is the change in time period or loss in time, or it is gain in time. Delta T upon T is the fractional change in time period, and this is the percentage change in time period. These all things we have to discuss one by one in a class here. First, I will discuss here how to find out the percentage change. Okay, first I will discuss this part here. Now, how to find out the percentage change? Yes, percentage change is not a part of heat and thermodynamics only here. It is a part of physics. Okay, percentage change is not a part of heat and thermodynamics only. It is a part of physics. Here questions asking in our exam related to the percentage change. Everywhere question is possible here. If the linear momentum of a body increases by 2%, what is the percentage change in the kinetic energy? Is a part of the mechanics portion here. So everywhere question is possible here related to the percentage change, and I will give you the concept in a class here. These concept we can apply everywhere now. These concept we can apply everywhere to convert any relation into percentage change. To convert any relation into percentage change. So it should be clear in a class. The universal part, master part we will discuss in a class to convert any relation into percentage change. It means that concept will be helpful to solve the question of any other unit also related to the percentage change. So this relation here now T is equal to 2 pi root over L naught by G. How to convert this relation into percentage change? We will discuss in a class now. Okay, percentage change in the time period taken here now. Percentage change in the time period. Okay, how to convert any relation into percentage change now? How to convert any relation into percentage change? Simple 3 steps take in a class now. 3 steps we can take in a class here to convert any relation into percentage change. Very first step here, taking log on both sides here. Very first step we can take log on both sides. Second step will be differentiation. And the last step multiplying by 100 on both sides. Multiplying by 100 on both sides. So these 3 steps we will apply here in a class to convert any relation into percentage change. Okay, T is equal to 2 pi root over L naught by G here. This 2 pi as it is, what is L naught having power 1 by 2? L naught having power 1 by 2 because it is square root, and G having power minus 1 by 2, it is in the denominator. Now is coming into numerator here. So gravity will have power minus 1 by 2 here. So T is equal to coming this here. First step we are applying in our class here, taking log on both sides here. All students in a class here, this is the property of log here, log xyz. Log xyz is equal to log x plus of log of y plus log of z. This is the property of log. It should be clear for you in a class here, so that we can apply here. Yes, it is in the form of x, in the form of y, and it is in the form of z. So log of t will become equal to log of 2 pi plus log L naught to the power 1 by 2 plus log G to the power minus 1 by 2 log x y z, log x plus log y plus log z. Or we can take here log of t is equal to log 2 pi plus 1 upon 2 log L naught. Log of x to the power n is equal to n log x. It is equal to n log x. So this is log 2 pi plus 1 upon 2 log L naught. Minus plus will be minus 1 upon 2 log of g. So first step we have completed in our class here, taking log on both sides. Now what is second step here? Differentiate this relation now here. Differentiate this relation here. Yes, we can differentiate this relation either with respect to time or with respect to length L naught here. Yes, L naught and T both are variable. Gravity is a constant term on the earth surface. Gravity is a constant term on the earth surface. 2 pi it is also constant. So this relation we can differentiate either with respect to t or with respect to L naught. Result does not change. The result does not change. So anyway, we can differentiate here either with respect to t or with respect to L naught. Suppose we are differentiating our relation with respect to L naught here now. So what is differentiation? We will take in a class now. Differentiate above relation T with respect to L naught. T with respect to L naught. Okay, before differentiating here, I will ask you one question here. What is the differentiation of log of X? What is the differentiation of log of X? Yes, sorry, students, I was in washroom. Okay, log of X. What is differentiation of log X? Yes, nobody respond in a class here about the log X differentiation. Yes, what is differentiation of log of X is equal to 1 by X, differentiation of log of X is equal to 1 by X, but this is not the complete differentiation here. Here, this is the differentiation of log of X, then remaining differentiation of X we can take with respect to X. It is delta X divided by of delta X, cancel, ultimately it will come 1 by X here. But if we are learning differentiation of log X is 1 by X here, yes, it will create a problem here. Now, whenever we will differentiate here, so take the concept in a class here. What is differentiation of log of X? It is equal to log X, it is 1 by X. Remaining differentiation of X with respect to X will come delta X by delta X. And that concept we will apply here now. Okay, tell me now, what is differentiation of log of T? Log of T is 1 upon T. Log of T is equal to 1 upon T. Remaining differentiation of T with respect to T. T with respect to, okay, this is a mistake now here. Okay, delta t. What is differentiation of log of t is 1 by t, and then remaining differentiation of t with respect to L naught. It is delta t by delta L. Delta t by delta L. Why it is? Because here we are differentiating this t with respect to L naught. T with respect to L naught. Here was the differentiation of x with respect to x naught. X with respect to x. So what is differentiation of log of t is equal to 1 by t. Remaining differentiation of t with respect to L naught is delta t by delta L. Differentiation of a constant term will be 0. Differentiation of a constant term will be 0 plus 1 upon 2. Differentiation of log of L naught is 1 by L naught. 1 by L naught. Then remaining differentiation of L naught with respect to L naught. L naught with respect to L naught. a differentiation of L naught with respect to L naught will come delta L by delta L, delta L by delta L. This complete relation we are differentiating T with respect to L naught. I repeat once again if we have a problem here. What is differentiation of log of T is equal to 1 by T, then differentiation of T with respect to L naught, delta T by delta L, differentiation of a constant term is 0 is 1 upon 2, differentiation of log of L naught is 1 by L naught, remaining differentiation of L naught with respect to L naught delta L by delta L minus differentiation of one more constant term will be 0 on the earth surface, on the earth surface. The gravity on the earth surface is constant, so differentiation of a constant term will be 0. That we have taken in a class. So what is this here? Delta L will be cancelled here. Now what will come here? Delta T by T, this one, delta T by T will become equal to 1 upon 2. This will delta L by L naught, delta L by L naught here. So after differentiating, a relation is converting into that form here, and everybody know in a class here, this is the fractional change in the time period. Here is the fractional change in the time period. What is this now? Here is the fractional change in length, the fractional change in length. So delta T by T is 1 upon 2 delta L by L naught. Two step we have completed here. Last step, multiplying by 100 on both sides. Multiplying by 100 on both sides. A relation will converting into the percentage change. A relation will converting into the percentage change. Okay, third step now here, multiplying by 100 on both sides here. So multiplying by 100 on both sides, delta T by T into 100 is 1 upon 2 delta L naught, delta L by L naught into 100. Everybody know in a class here, this is the percentage change in length, and that part we discussed already in the first day lecture of thermal expansion for one-dimensional expansion. So the value of delta L by L naught into 100 is equal to alpha delta T into 100, alpha delta T into 100. Or delta T by T into 100, this is equal to 1 upon 2 alpha delta T into 100. So this is the percentage change in the time period. That was the required part here. So here is the percentage change in the time period is 1 by 2 times of alpha delta T into 100. Alpha is the coefficient of linear expansion of a pendulum clock. What is alpha? Is the coefficient of linear expansion of a pendulum clock. And what is this delta T? Is the change in temperature. Don't confuse by this delta T and this delta T here. What is this delta T? Is the change in temperature. So this delta T, delta capital T is the change in temperature. This delta small t is the change in time period, change in time period. So this is nothing but as the percentage change in time period. A very important relation is on the board here. Numericals asking in our exam here related to the percentage change part here will become very simple to solve the question. Later we will take the questions in a class here. Now, what is this here? Yes, if it is cancel 100 now, if it is cancel 100, a relation will converting into the fractional change. A relation will converting into the fractional change. So this is nothing but as fractional change in the time period. Fractional change in the time period. So fractional change in the time period. So cancel 100, a relation is converting into the fractional change in the time period. What is this delta T? Is the change in time period. What is delta T? Is the change in time period. It may either be loss in time or gain in time, as I already dictated in a class here. So all three part we have taken in our class here. What is percentage change in the time period? What is the fractional change in the time period? And what is the change in time period? And this change in time period is nothing but as either loss in time or gain in time, depending upon the conditions here. Is it temperature is increasing or decreasing? Yes, topic we have completed in a class now here related to the effect of temperature on the time period of a simple pendulum clock. Okay, we will take the numericals here. Okay, a pendulum clock keeps correct time at 25 degrees Celsius here. It keeps correct time at 25 degrees Celsius. The coefficient of linear expansion of a pendulum clock is given 2 into 10 to the power minus 4 per degree Celsius. If the temperature falls to 0 degrees Celsius, then the clock will options on the board here. Okay, try to solve this question now. Nobody is responding. You should respond in a class here, not like that. I will not solve this question here if you will not be respond in a class. You should solve the question here. At least solve the question. I will not solve this question. Anybody got the answer? D, B. It is just like not 2020 here, it is just like T10. One student is saying, sir, please go slow here if it is possible here. Yes, it is possible here to go slow here, but in the meantime, we will not be able to finish the topic in a class. So please follow me. If you want to discuss many of the things in the meantime here, speed will be slightly fast here. Is it a fast speed here? Tell me all students now. So I know it here. That is so speed here. So if anybody having a problem here, please follow me here. Okay. Otherwise, we will not be discuss many of the things in a class here. In the meantime here, very limited time we have to finish the part here. So how to finish here? By maintaining our speed in a class here. Okay. Okay. Answer here now. First, tell me here, is it loss in time or gain in time here? Is a loss in time or gain in time? Very simple. Initial temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. Here temperature is 25 degrees Celsius and that temperature reaches to 0 degrees Celsius here. So no doubt here temperature is decreasing here. And if temperature decreases means there will be gain in time. There will be gain in time. So in any condition, C and A not possible here. Some students are responding about A or C here. It should be clear in a class here. We discuss already here for which condition loss in time, for which condition gain in time, for which condition neither loss nor gain in time. I repeat more than 2 times in a class here. I repeat more than 2 times in a class here. So if anybody interested to learn in a class, definitely that person will understand in a class. So A and C not possible here. What is possible answer we will take in a class here. So one thing is clear here. Here temperature is changing from 25 to 0 degree Celsius here. And if temperature changes from 25 to 0 degrees Celsius means temperature is decreasing. Temperature decreasing means there will be gain in time. There will be gain in time. Now by which amount gain in time we will take in a class now here. What is delta T is equal to 1 upon 2 alpha delta T into small t. That relation will be helpful here to find out the gain in time here. Delta T is equal to 1 upon 2 alpha is equal to given 2 into 10 to the power minus 4 into change in temperature. Change in temperature will be always positive here. Okay. Change in temperature will always be positive. So it is equal to 25 minus of 0. Yes, time period is a constant term here. Clearly mentioned here in options per day. It should be clear in a class here. This T is a variable part here. Per day, per hour, per week, per month, per year. So it should be clear in a class here what is mentioned part in the options here. Clearly mentioned here it is per day. Per day means yes. Per day means it is T is equal to 24 hours. It is 24 hour into 60 minutes. 60 minutes, it is 24 hour into 60 into 60 second. It is 86,400 second here. 86,400 seconds. So take the value now here. It is 86,400 seconds. Solve and get your answer here. Yes, what is coming answer? Is it 216 per day? D. So both part is clear now here. Both part is clear now here. Will it be loss in time or gain in time? It will be decided by the temperature. And the another part here, will it be loss in time or gain in time will be clear by the relation which we discussed already in a class here. Now this is a good question we are taking in our class here. A pendulum. Okay, is coming sound now? Bhavna Podel. Is this sound coming now? Yes, sir. Sound is clear. Okay, Bhavna Podil got the right answer of your question. It is 20 degrees Celsius. Someone disturbed in a class here. There was a cutoff. Okay, now this is 20 degrees Celsius here. Is only one student solve this question in a class? What the rest students are doing? B. Oh, good. Rajan Thakur solved this question in the right way here. Ravindra Shrestha also. Oh, one no. Ravindra Shrestha got the answer D. It is not right answer. Okay, I will discuss in a class now. Take the concept here. Okay, first here we can take gain in time. Gain in time. Here it is loss in time. And here it is neither loss nor gain in time. Okay, lot of students got the right answer of a question. It is 20 degrees Celsius. Very good in a class. Okay, gain in time, loss in time. Here it is neither loss nor gain in time. Okay, listen carefully if we have a problem here. Okay, listen all students in a class here. So three part we are taking here: gain in time, loss in time, neither loss nor gain in time. You know, gain in time at which temperature? 15 degrees Celsius here. Huh? Gain in time at which temperature? 15 degrees Celsius. So at 15 degrees Celsius, gain in time at 30 degrees Celsius, loss in time. So at 30 degrees Celsius temperature now. So at 15 degrees Celsius, gain in time, at 30 degrees Celsius, loss in time. Now, at 15 degrees Celsius, gain in time, at 30 degrees Celsius, loss in time. So there will be one temperature. There will be one temperature lie in between 15 and 30. There will be one temperature lie in between 15 and 30 at which there will be neither loss or nor gain in time. There will be neither loss nor gain in time. And that temperature we can take supposed to be T degree Celsius. So this T is the temperature at which there will be neither loss nor gain in time. It should be clear in a class here. This T is greater than 15. T is greater than 15 and T will be less than 30. T will be less than 30. Okay, we will develop two relations in a class here. One relation for the gain in time and one more relation for the loss in time to solve the question in a class here. So for gain in time. For gain in time, what is delta T is equal to 1 upon 2 alpha delta T into small t here. What is the value of gain in time? It is clearly given 5 seconds. So this is equal to 5 seconds is 1 upon 2. Alpha is the unknown value. What is change in temperature is T minus 15. T minus 15. So this is capital T minus 15. Time period is supposed to be taken as T here. Is taken as the relation number 1 here. So the relation we have taken in our class for the gain in time. In the same way, we can develop the relation for the loss in time here. For loss in time. Yes, it is right answer is V. Loss in time, what is delta T is equal to 1 upon 2 alpha delta T into small t. General relation we have taken in a class here. Okay, what is the value of delta T loss in time here? What is the value of the loss in time? 10 seconds per day. Loss 10 seconds per day. So this is 10 is equal to 1 upon 2 alpha. Unknown change in temperature will be 30 minus T. 30 is more than T here. So this is 30 minus of T into time period small t. Relation number 2 here. So we have taken two relations in our class here, one for the gain in time, another for the loss in time. How to eliminate many unknown data, just like alpha here. Just like alpha here, and it is small t also here, if we are dividing these two relations here. So we can divide these two relations here. So eliminate the many unknown data here, 1 divided by 2. Okay, this is 5 divided by 10. Here it is 5 divided by 10 is equal to 1 upon 2 times of alpha into t minus 15 into small t divided by, yes, it is 1 by 2 times of alpha into 30 minus t into small t here. Okay, 1 by 2 alpha, sorry, 1 by 2 alpha cancel, small t also cancel. So this is 5 divided by 10 is equal to coming t minus 15 divided by 30 minus t here. Solve and get your answer here. This t will come 20 degrees Celsius, and this t is the temperature at which there will be neither loss nor gain in time. So when the temperature will be 20 degrees Celsius, there will be neither loss nor gain in time. Physics is not running by the shortcut way here, is running by the concept here. So take the concept everywhere will be helpful. 216 second per day, I think. What was the answer of the previous question? There was gain. Okay. Relation in between the coefficient of real expansion and the coefficient of apparent expansion of a liquid in a glass vessel. What is our topic here? Expansion of liquid. Expansion of a liquid here. Okay, you will listen all students in a class carefully, because this is a so doubtful topic in a class here. Students are not able to understand here. They are not feeling good in that topic in a classes here. So how to feel good in a topic here, how to understand the things in a class, we will discuss here. Okay, so relation in between the coefficient of real expansion and the coefficient of apparent expansion of a liquid in a glass vessel. Yes, what is our main topic? Expansion of liquid. Expansion of liquid. Expansion of liquid here. Okay, so topic is expansion of liquid. What we have to discuss now, what is a relation in between the coefficient of real expansion and coefficient of apparent expansion of a liquid in a glass vessel. Okay, you will listen all students in a class now here. We will make very easy topic here, but only whenever we are spending our time in a class here. Okay, initially level of liquid is at A here. This is the level of liquid is at A here. Here heat is supplying now here. What is supplying? Heat. So when heat is supplying here, delta Q. Here again heat is supplying delta Q here. Okay, listen all students in a class here. Initially level of liquid is at A here. Initially level of liquid is at A, then level of liquid here it is at B, here level of liquid is at C, and here we are collecting the level of the liquid at all three places here. Here we are collecting the level of liquid at all three places. Initially level of liquid is at A, then it is at B, and here it is at C here. So don't be confused in a class here. Here we are collecting the level of liquid at all three places in the last diagram. Initially level of liquid is at A, then it is at B, then it is at C here. Now what is happening here? How the level of the liquid is changing here? Okay, listen carefully. So interesting part here. Okay, we are discussing in our class here. Just spend the time so that we can understand everything in a class here. Okay, when heat is given to the vessel here now. When heat is given to the vessel, that heat is first taken by glass here, not by the liquid, for a very small interval of time here. So when heat is given to the vessel, that heat is taken by glass, not by liquid, not by liquid. If heat is not taken by liquid here, yes, there will be no expansion in liquid first, there will be no expansion in liquid. Now heat is taken by glass here. When heat is taken by glass, so when the heat is taken by glass, expansion will take place into glass. Expansion will take place into glass. So due to the expansion of the glass, level of the liquid will fall from A to B. Level of the liquid will fall from A to B. So when heat is given to the vessel, that heat will be taken by glass first. Initially, heat is not taken by liquid, so there will be no expansion in liquid. Heat is taken by glass. So when heat is taken by glass, expansion will take place into glass. So due to the expansion of the glass, level of the liquid will fall from A to B. It should be clear in a class here. Even level of the liquid is falling, but the volume of the liquid still does not change. Volume of this liquid does not change because volume of that liquid is equal to volume of that liquid. Heat is not transferring to the liquid. Still, heat is not transferring to the liquid here. Now, whenever heat is transferring to the liquid, now in the next diagram here, whenever heat is transferring to the liquid here, yes, liquid and glass now both will expand. Liquid and glass now both will expand. But everybody know in a class here, expansion of the liquid is more than solid. So yes, glass is in a solid form. Glass is in a solid form. So when heat is transferring to the liquid here, liquid will expand, glass will also expand. But liquid will expand more than glass. Liquid will expand more than glass. So due to the more expansion of liquid, level of the liquid will be changes from B to C, changes from B to C. What is this AB here? AB is the real increase in volume of glass. What is AB? Is the real increase in volume of glass. What is AB? Is the real increase in volume of glass. And what is B about BC? Is the real increase in volume of liquid. So BC is the real increase in volume of liquid. And what is B about AC? Is the apparent increase in volume of liquid. What is AC? Is the apparent increase in volume of liquid. But this is not clear for even single student in a class here. Sir, how AC is the apparent increase in volume? That is the required in a class here. Only that part is required in a class to understand. Topic will be clear then after here. So AB is the real increase in volume of glass. BC is the real increase in volume of liquid. And AC is the apparent increase in volume of liquid, which is not clear here now. So how to understand in a class? I will discuss with you in a class by the example here. Okay, listen carefully in a class here. Okay, suppose we are heating a milk in our kitchen here. Okay, just imagine here. Now what we are heating a milk in our kitchen. Initially, we found the level of milk is at A here. Initially, we found the level of milk is at A before heating. Now, whenever heat is given to the vessel, suppose this glass vessel is made of aluminum pot or maybe steel pot here. So milk is heated here. When heat is given to the vessel, aluminum pot or steel pot here, that heat will be taken by aluminum pot or steel pot here. So there will be expansion of the aluminum pot or steel pot, but this expansion will be very, very small here. Expansion will be very, very small. So whenever heat is given to the vessel, yes, vessel will expand. Level of the milk will be changes from B to C. Level of the milk will be changes from yes A to B. Sorry, level of the milk will be changes from A to B here. So here it is level A. Here it is level B here. But whenever we are heating a milk in our kitchen here, we never see such type of a diagram here. We never see such type of a diagram here. Initially level of milk were at A, then it is at B here, not falling down here. So what is happening at this time here? So whenever heat is given to this vessel here, yes, vessel will expand, but this expansion will be very, very small here. This expansion will be very, very small here. Level of the milk will be changes from B to C here. Actually, level of the milk, actually level of the milk will be changes from A to B, but we will not observe the milk level is at B. We will observe the milk level is at A. We will observe the milk level is at A. Are you getting my point or not here? So initially level of milk was at A here. Only that part should be clear in a class. Initially level of milk was at A. Now when heat is given to the aluminum pot or steel pot, there will be expansion, but that expansion will be very, 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 very small here. Level of the milk will be changes from A to B, but we will not observe the milk level changes from A to B. We will observe still milk is at A. We will observe still milk is at A. So actually milk is at B and we will observe milk is at A here. Now when heat is transferring to the liquid or milk here, milk will boil. Milk will boil. The level of the milk will be changes from B to C. Actually, the level of the milk will be changes from B to C, but we will observe the milk level changes from A to C. We will observe the milk level changes from A to C, and observing means apparent. Observing means apparent. Are you getting my point or not? Is it clear for all students in a class here? So actually milk is at A. Actually milk is at B, but we will observe it is at A here. Now whenever heat is given to the milk here, milk will boil. Milk will boil. The level of the milk will be changes from B to C, and we will observe the milk level changes from A to C here. So what we will observe, the milk level changes from A to C, and observing means apparent. Observing means apparent. So AC is the apparent increase in volume of a liquid. That was the only part required here. After this topic will become simple here. Yes, tell me now here. Can you be right here? This AB plus AC is equal to BC here from the diagram here. AB plus AC is equal to BC. So what is AB plus AC is equal to of BC? So AB plus AC is equal to BC. What is AB? Is the real increase in volume. Real increase in volume. AB is the real increase in volume of glass. So AB is the real increase in volume of glass here. I written in that way. So AB is the real increase in volume of glass plus AC is the apparent increase in volume. This is the apparent increase in volume of liquid. And what is B about BC is the real increase in volume. What is B about BC is the real increase in volume of liquid. That is coming in a class now here. So this is the real increase in volume of glass AB. AC is the apparent increase in volume of liquid, and this is the real increase in volume of liquid. Yes, it is clear here, and then after no doubt here. Okay, there will not be any doubt to understand the part here. Okay, everybody know in a class here what is delta V is equal to V naught into gamma into delta T. In the beginning we discussed that type of a relation in a class here. Delta V is equal to V naught into gamma into delta T. V naught is the initial volume. V naught is the initial volume occupied by the liquid in a glass here. V naught is the initial volume occupied by the liquid in a glass here. So initially both are occupying same volume, liquid and glass. Initially both are occupying same volume, V naught of liquid and of glass. So what we can take in a class, this V naught does not change. This V naught does not change. Take it now. What is the real increase in volume of glass? It is V naught into gamma of glass here, huh? Gamma of glass into delta T. Everybody know in a class here, milk and the vessel both are heated to the same temperature. Both are heated to the same temperature. So this delta T will be same. Plus, what is V about the apparent increase in volume of liquid? This is equal to V naught into gamma of apparent into delta T here. V naught does not change because liquid and glass initially both are occupying same volume. Delta T does not change. Why delta T does not change? Because both are heated to the same temperature, liquid and glass. And this is equal to what is the real increase in volume of liquid? It is again V naught into gamma of liquid into delta T. Gamma of liquid into delta T here. What is cancel? Delta T cancel. Yes, V naught, it is also cancel. A very important relation will now become in a class. Gamma of the liquid is equal to gamma of real. Gamma of the liquid is equal to gamma of real is equal to gamma apparent plus gamma glass. This is the coming relation on the board here. So gamma of the liquid is equal to gamma real is equal to gamma apparent plus gamma glass. This is the coefficient of real expansion of liquid. Coefficient of real expansion of liquid. And what is this here? Coefficient of apparent expansion of liquid. And what is this? Gamma G is the coefficient of real expansion of glass. Coefficient of real expansion of glass. So that we have taken in our class here. Gamma real is equal to gamma apparent plus gamma glass here. Okay, few questions are possible to come in our exam here. That part we cannot take it now here. Time it is over here. Okay. So next day we will continue the same topic in a class here. Okay. Thank you. Happy Dasai to all of you.